The death of 20-year-old Jesus Sacul caused outrage on Monday night. After his family and friends were informed of his passing while in the X-ray room of the Northern Regional Hospital, a protest ensued at the hospital's main entrance. Videos captured at the scene showed disgruntled residents hurling rocks and pints at officers and even at employees of the hospital. Luckily, no one got hurt, but there were damages to the fence of the hospital, says Minister of Health Kevin Bernard.
What happened at the hospital was very uncalled for, and I will publicly say that. While emotions were high, and I offer my condolences to the family of the young man that passed away. Unfortunately, that happened, but it did not give them any right to go on. And one, we had damages to the hospital fence. People were hurling rocks and bottles at our employees at the hospital. These people are innocently there working. They had nothing to do with whatever incident happened. Now I understand that the same night people were a bit up and as you know, emotions were flying. They were complaining that the ambulance took a while. Let me give some information that I have on that. That when the ambulance, the driver of the ambulance got the request, he has to go to emergency. He has to wait for a nurse from emergency because a driver of an ambulance cannot just go on his own. He has to be accompanied by a nurse. And there were some delays there. And so we are trying to find how we can fix that problem. But I also understand that they were given the wrong location. So they were out but looking at the wrong at somewhere else. And so that caused a bit of delay and frustration. But as I said, whatever happened with the police and these young men escalated into an issue that shouldn't have been. And I think that as citizens, we need to understand that while we cannot make two wrong a right, we have to ensure that we calmly do things and responsibly do things. But yes, I think that those who did it and those who were part of that process, I think were wrong. It shouldn't have been because we could have put our people at risk. Our security officers that were there felt threatened. The nurses that are at the front gate also felt threatened. And so I think we really won't want to see this happen again, but at the end of the day, I really want to make a plea to our citizens. Let us solve things calmly. And
As it relates to Sacul's death, Bernard says it is unfortunate and a full investigation must be called for. On his behalf, he has confirmed that all protocols were followed at the hospital as soon as both injured men arrived at the hospital.
I think it's very unfortunate to the level we were seeing in the past incident that happened with the young man that died, and now with this scenario. Now, I don't know the full details in terms of who is at fault, but I think that sometimes we need to take there are two things. If you are being perpetrated by the police, man, stop, find out what is happening. If you're not doing anything wrong, then the police will be able to better understand. At the same time, the police need to also do things the right way, because this is what causes problems. You are pursuing somebody, man. There's many ways you could cut somebody. You have the license plate. You could always go back and find out who is the owner of that transportation. And there's other means to arrest persons. Now there have been an outcry of citizens as well who have been saying that there have been a lot of these young motorcyclists making a lot of noise in the neighborhoods, and I know that I get constant calls from people in the East constituency where sometimes they gather on the Liberty Avenue late hours of the night, and it's a disturbance to the peace of people who want to sleep and have a tranquil moment at their own home. So as well, I make a plea to these young people. I understand we have little motorcycle clubs here and there, but again, don't do that in a town. There are places where you can go and do these type of things. But I want again to please us, our citizens, to let us ensure that Orange Walk can continue to be that harmonious place that people work together, talk to each other, and respect each other. And you have to respect the rule of law. At the same time, the law must also respect the citizens' rights.
As mentioned, Sacul was driving a motorcycle with Jairo Guerra, 19 years of age, when police saw them coming out of a known drug area on the Belize Corozal Road in Orange Walk Town. Police alerted the men to stop by turning on the siren, but instead the cycle sped off and a high-speed chase initiated. Police would catch up with the motorcycle, and according to eyewitnesses, The police mobile hit the back of the cycle, causing a collision. On the other hand, the officers involved are saying Sacul, who was driving the cycle, collided into them. Police say they chased the men because the passenger had what appeared to be a weapon that was thrown on the side of the highway. After the collision, police returned to the area and in their report stated they found a 9mm pistol. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams later clarified that what officers found was a pellet gun. And then yesterday, the media received a photograph of that gun. The photo shows a battered piece of what can be coined as a scrap metal weapon or the remnants of what is considered a recreational sports air pistol. Up to news time, there is no word if charges will be levied upon any of the officers involved in the chase that ended fatal and has left Guerra suffering from a number of injuries.